Well, well, hello, darlings. Happy Thursday to all of you. A happy Thursday to all of you. It is I, your favorite oracle, the Oracle of Whimsy. And we are just gathered together. Uh, and I'm just going to get us a little organized. We've got a couple things to talk about. Um, First off, how is everybody? Is everybody okay? Are you good? Talk to me. To your sister. Talk to your sister Whimsy. Your your magical, mystical friend, Whimsy. Talk to me. Start with telling me who you are, where you're coming from, what you eating, what you're drinking. It'd also be great if you could like and subscribe while we all find our way to the stream. As many of you know, this is the Thursday show where we all get together and we recap, excuse me, all of the stories of the week. I have taken my Claritin, so I believe we're going to be okay in terms of the cough. I'm also drinking a very nice tea combination. It is a combination of a Yorkshire tea. Yorkshire Gold and Yorkshire tea out of England. I put one of those in, and then I have a separate dish where I crushed the sweet carminative herbs. So the sweet carminative herbs that I crushed and put on the side are fennel, anise, star anise, cardamon, cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg. And those are digestive health aids, right? They're digestive health aids, or what we call carminatives. They help, hopefully I don't have any cooties in my nose while I'm trying to be the fashionable, yes, the cool doctor. I'm the cool doctor, right? Theoretically. Anyway, so I put those two together, the carminatives with the black tea. Now, the black tea also acts as a bitter, and it contains something called tannins, which can help. The tannins bind to proteins. So if you had an upset stomach, theoretically, there were bacteria in the stomach and you were fasting, a person could drink a bitter with tannins, something with bark or something that had a lot of tannins in it, like tea, and that would theoretically have antimicrobial properties. Another example of that would be pau d'arco. But all black teas have antimicrobial properties that are good for the stomach. And when you add cardamom to the black tea, it will actually make it will help bring out more of the black of the tea. And then the cardamom creates a darker tea. So let me just pour this and show you. And you'll notice that you're getting a very, very dark tea. This is just one tea bag, and one tea bag will usually yield 2 cups, 16 fluid ounces. And you can see here that it's just a very nice, dark, rich. Now, I also put some orange peel. You can purchase on Amazon.com your bulk herbs. If you see how dark that gets. Now, you can get, if you want to be an herbalist, if you say, Dr. Whimsy, I got to do what you're doing because it just blows my mind, I got to be there. I would start with the herbs in your kitchen to really know what they do, because I can assure you I use all of them. There's plenty. If you're a kitchen table witch, trust me, cloves, which is one of the things found in here. Remember what I had said was in the mixture, right? This is an antimicrobial. Black tea contains tannins, which it tans things, right? Why does it tan things? Because it binds to the protein in the hide. So if you had a bacteria in an empty stomach and you were sick and you coated it with a tannin, you would be theoretically, it would be an antimicrobial and it would wash the stomach. So if you're waking up in the morning and you want to wash the stomach with something, in Chinese medicine, it was hot water, right? The first thing, you wouldn't eat anything. You would wash the vessel. You know, it's called washing the vessel. Who here has heard that term? Washing the vessel, right? So we have multiple vessels in Chinese medicine, right? So different vessels that hold different things that do different things, right? We have, or what we call hollow organs, yes? Oh, I know that some of you studied Chinese medicine. You're giving me that little smile. I see that wry smile coming out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The yin and the yang, right? The yin and the yang organs. So this is a really good balanced tea if you're trying to heal that meridian and you're feeling like it's weak. You're talking about like stomach and spleen meridian being affected, gallbladder and liver also, which is both, it's vertical, ascending and descending energy, yin and yang. So then you can add a little bit of milk, but understand that the tannins will bind to whatever the protein or casein is in the milk, right? Well, if it's milk, it's going to be a casein. So that may remove some of the tannins if you're like fighting an infection. But I tend to find black tea is a little bit too many tannins. And so if your stomach is as sensitive as mine is when you're not feeling well, you may feel like you do need to add a little bit of milk. If you're from Northern Europe, then warm milk should be fine for your stomach. Cheers. It's delicious. All right. The next thing that people wanted to talk to me about had to do with intermittent fasting. As those of you know, I started intermittent fasting. How have I felt on intermittent fasting? How have I felt since I did the meditation last week? So we're going to talk a little bit about what the message was from my spirit guides, how I was supposed to give you guys the message, and how my life has changed personally since I received that message. Hi, Geocosmic Valentine. Hi, Kitty Connell. Thank you for your membership. Stephanie Stevens, thank you so much for your membership. Joel Tilson, thank you for being in the house and being our floor director. If you need anything at all, Joel is here to help. Geocosmic Valentine, class starts on Wednesday. I'd love it if you were there, and I really would love it if I could give you your teaching certification. Maria, welcome. Thank you for being here from beautiful southeast Queensland, beautiful part of the world. Hello, Uma Gray from Berlin. Mayana Benshop is in the house. Christine Brooks, again, thank you for being a member. And Adij Campbell, thank you for being here. Great love, creative love, excuse me. Thank you for your membership. Again, if everybody could like and subscribe, that would be great. So the message from Spirit was very specific. So the question I had for our spirit guides was, what are we supposed to do? My community is very upset about everything they're seeing. They don't want to stick their head in the sand. They want to be educated. They want to be educated, and they're tired of feeling like this way. So what is the message? And so the first message from Spirit for all of us is that at this time we're instructed that we must, before all else, we must heal our own lives. And this was really hard for me to hear because when things are disastrous or when things are difficult, the first thing you want to do is you find yourself running around like a chicken with your head off, right? Like if there's an earthquake or something like that. But what our guides are telling us to do is to do nothing. And to first stop and assess your situation and address whether or not you are well. And do you know how to check in on yourself? So I think the first message, excuse me, from our guides is that our guides are worried about the mental toll this is taking on us. The psychological, the mental toll. Our health is struggling. So we can talk about what's going on politically. We can try and be informed to the best of our ability. We can encourage people to vote. But our first priority is not to do that. Our first priority is to check in on ourselves and take care of our own health, which is really counter of what most of us do, right? So how do you begin the process of healing your own life so that, because if we all fall apart because we feel like we're victims of the news and everything else, how are we going to keep ourselves from falling apart? And so the first thing is to tune that out and instead tune into yourself and find out what it is you need in order to be happy. And then create a beautiful world for yourself and invite others to come in to that world. So that's the fixing of the world. But in terms of our own health, one of the things that the guides have been showing me a lot is the importance of returning to the basics and remembering that the body that we have now is the same body that our ancestors had 10,000 years ago, that it has changed very little. Northern Europeans can tolerate more dairy, thank God, right? But other than that, the physical changes have been minimal. And so we have to look at blue zones and these areas where people are their happiest and living their longest and their best lives. And one of the things we see is that they are living, their health and their own well-being is a priority. Daily habits. And the first of that is being consistent. So the first is you have to recognize you have a problem, which is that nothing is more important to Joyce Pietris from the guides that are guiding her than that nobody is to have access to her who compromises her health, right? Just like Kate Middleton. Well, we want to see her. It doesn't matter. Get over it. She's the damn princess. She's going to do what she has to do to take care of herself, and you're just going to have to get over it, right? So if you look at it from a spiritual perspective, Terry Quartz, Agid Campbell, Joel Tilson, right? Ann Dillon, Catherine H. What your guides are telling you through this conversation is that when you know your own worth, that is precisely how you treat your health. And you're not going to allow anybody or anything to have access to you. You're not going to be flippant with your own health. Because you respect yourself too much. Speaking of which, why is my filter off? I thought suspiciously quiet over here. So So that's the first thing, right? Is before anything else, you must first heal your own life, and recognize the value of your own life. And the second is to remove the cause, right? This is a big part of the fundamentals of being a naturopathic doctor is we listen to you and we say do nothing. You just need to stop everything. Stop every supplement. I need you to just take a breath. I need you to stop everything. Ah! Stop. Take a breath. And let's find out what's causing the problem, right? So people want me to give them a magic trick as a naturopathic doctor. And they want me to be able to say, take this pill and all your problems are going to go away. Take this antidote. But that's not how it works. The truth of the matter is the same body today as it was thousands of years ago. So the body needs certain things. And one of the things it needs is it needs to you have to remove the cause of getting text while I'm live. Sorry about that. So we have to remove the cause of what's causing the problem, right? So sometimes the cause is a toxic relationship or people that don't respect us, or maybe we don't respect them. We have to really stop and assess everything that is in our lives. And sometimes it's our news. It's what we are consuming. We have to stop and seriously think about what we're consuming and what we're taking in. You know, going to lunch with friends. Is this good for me? Drinking this alcohol. Is this good for me? Smoking this marijuana. Is this good for me? Well, my doctor prescribed it. Well, can you switch to edibles? Whatever. Well, it's not good for the lungs. Whatever the challenge is, trying to find out what it is and remove the cause. Well, for many people, the cause is Trump, right? Trump and the Supreme Court, right? So, and then the third message from Spirit is after you remove the cause, you respect yourself enough to recognize the fact that nothing is going to be more important than your own health. And number two, you remove anyone or anything that is a threat to your health because you understand that your health is your number one priority on earth. And then once you figure that out, you can try and help others along the way. But nothing's more important than your health because if you fall apart, everything falls apart. And then the third thing, the message was the importance of fasting. That fasting would go back to being very important part of our culture again. And that is because of I began to see, just as an anthropologist studying this, that the main thing I saw, even in people who didn't necessarily have more physical activity, who were at desk jobs in the 1950s and 60s, they were not eating after dinner. There was no snacking. Just thousands of more snacking products. The new product that came in, the Ho-Hos and the Twinkies, that was kind of a new phenomenon, but people might have brought to lunch a ham sandwich and a thermos of coffee, one or two other things, and that was it. And then you went home, you had dinner at 6, promptly at 6, right? The husband wanted dinner served at 6 p.m., 6:30 you were done. And that was it. The guy sat and he read his newspaper or a book. The kid, or he watched the news, right? Maybe they watched Johnny Carson and went to bed, right? So, but they didn't have these junk foods. And so what started to happen is that there's no fasting period. Humans are no longer fasting. So we're having dinner at 6, done by 6:30, and 8, 9 o'clock, we've got another meal. And so it becomes an extra 500, 600, 700 kcal every night, and then it culminates over time. So when you're struggling with the issue of how to fast and whether or not you have to change your diet or anything, you would benefit even with no changes to your diet. So studies show that fasting, you benefit with no changes to your diet. So if you have low blood sugar and you're worried about fasting, you may start very small and say, all right, my last meal will be at 8 o'clock, and then in the morning I'll have a meal at 6 a.m. And then you can check your ketones, you can check your blood sugar, etc. If you're worried, work with your doctor if you are on metformin. But most people can gradually increase the number of hours that they're fasting. And it's also important to increase fiber during that time, because fiber bulks up your stool. If you have an incomplete stool, it's usually because the sigmoid colon has inadequate fiber. Excuse me. And inadequate fiber will cause you not to have a bulky stool. And so it's incomplete. Whereas if you take a lot of flax and smoothies with flax, sorry about this cough. And if you have a green leafy salad every day, that will bulk up your stool enough to where you'll have a healthy evacuation. And the other thing is to make sure that you don't eat for at least 13 hours. So that was the message from Spirit, was to start thinking about fasting, getting control over our minds, who has access to us, respecting yourself enough to say no. It's not going to happen. Honoring the fast, going back to the fast. Is there something else about health? Oh, yeah, and improving my diet. But in terms of how I feel, my weight is like back to 158. My digestion is a lot better. Because you have more pancreatic enzymes, you're going to be able to digest foods you could not digest before. You'll be able to digest more raw and more greens because you're going to be really hungry. So like the prime time in Ayurvedic for the body to eat is between like 11 and 7. 12 to noon, 11 to 7 p.m. if you're looking at circadian rhythms. So you might want to wake up, have some tea. It's okay to have coffee if you feel like you want a cup of coffee. And then you could break fast around 11, 12. And then you have a window from 12 till 8 you could eat, or 11 till 7. And then after that, you don't eat again until the following day. And it just gives your colon and your body a break. And it also teaches you to take control and to recognize that you're not a victim, and to say, I'm not a victim, I'm an adult. I can take a walk around the block and put 20 minutes towards exercise. I can put the fork down at 6:30. So another thing is that people weren't having extra helpings and triple helpings. It's like everyone got one petite steak and that was it. You were done. And then you had meat and potatoes. There's nothing wrong with traditional German fare or Northern European fare if that's how you grew up. It's just too much food and no break for the stomach. And I just feel better. And I can tell my heart is relieved, because your heart collects the extra fat and your liver collects the extra calories. And so this is fatty liver disease, fat on your liver, fat around your intestines, your visceral fat, and all of that burns. You can get keto sticks on Amazon, so you can check in the morning to see if you go into ketosis. The best diet for the human body is Mediterranean. I would be careful with white flour. It reduced the amount of wheat, but you don't have to give it up entirely unless you have diverticulitis or something like that. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll do the Empath prayer. We'll do some blitzes, and we'll talk a little bit about the news. I just wanted to share what I'm going through, and it's had such a profound effect on me. The other thing is I would share is that in China, people drink hot water and hot green tea to suppress appetite. And at night, you can try just the carminatives in your hot water. You know, if you're trying to aid digestion and suppress appetite. You can do a decaf green tea. You can do a holy basil at night with the carminative blend I recommended. And it fills the stomach, and you can feel your digestion is going to love you. Your pancreas is going to heal. Your liver is going to heal. And you're going to be able to eliminate all that ama. In Ayurvedic medicine, what we call ama, or waste, that sticky waste. The other thing that I started to do is I'm taking 1 teaspoon of fish oil a day, which is something that I recommend always to my patients, but never used to do myself. Ew, ick. But I'm doing the Nordic Naturals, high EPA DHA. Great way to prevent a heart attack is calorie restriction and taking omegas every day. And if your vitamin D is low, you would want to also take 5,000 IU of vitamin D a day. Is standard according to the cardiologist. What's his name? The guy that ran to be governor and lost in Pennsylvania. Yeah, Dr. Oz. Yes, was it Pennsylvania? Yeah, it was Pennsylvania. Yeah, 5,000 IU a day, he said, was safe. Baking soda, yeah, one of my studies, this is the thing I want to get across. My studies are, I'm an anthropologist, I'm a naturopathic doctor, the body has not changed. So I'm trying to get medicine. I'm trying to convince people that you don't have to spend all this money. Do you understand? You just need someone to guide you through slowly reducing caloric intake, bone broth, there are a couple supplements. Learn how to, and meditation and grounding, and create a protocol for someone that's easy to do. But just calorie restriction alone is one of the best things you can do to extend your life. Yeah, absolutely. More veggies, less meat. Well, those are the two things they say. If one thing you must do every day is consume a large salad every day. Did I consume a large salad every day? Did I consume a large salad today? Oh, yes. Oh, my God, I did. I had the most amazing meal today. I baked kale, and it got all crunchy, and I ate the entire thing instead of making a salad. And then I made tofu and black beans, brown rice, and I also baked mushrooms. Oh my God. And I hadn't eaten all day. So by the time 11, 12 o'clock came around, because I had been fasting, other than just coffee, and I don't do a pure keto, by the way. I have coffee with milk and sugar, which runs me about 120 calories, give or take. But what I found is that you'll still go into ketosis if the caloric intake is too low. You're still going to have a ketosis, but and I'm still doing 13 hours. So say, for example, I stop eating at 6:30 and I wake up at 7:30. I'll have a cup of coffee with milk and sugar. So I'm letting myself have milk and sugar, and say that's about 120. It's not that much, but we'll say 120 kcal. But I don't break fast and have my main meal. I might not have it till 2 o'clock. And then from 2 to 6 is the main time. 6:30 is when I get to eat, because that's when the digestive fire is high. And then when the digestive fire is weak and it's asleep, you shouldn't be eating. Yeah. Those are the things we can control. Everything else, it's just causing us to become upset. And it's not something that we can control, but this is something you can control. You can control, you can say, this is absolutely ridiculous. I'm an adult, for crying out loud. I'm not a helpless victim. I'm going to put the damn cookies away. What the hell was I thinking? I'm not powerless over my addiction to Stouffer's. Nothing comes closer to home, right? Stouffer's got great lasagna, right? Um, we have control. It's just like, no, it's just that simple. You're done. Read a book and sip green. If you're really starving, I'm telling you, green tea will nip it in the bud. Green tea, maybe mix it with a little holy basil. You can buy all your herbs bulk online. Don't need to spend money. I'm telling you guys. I try as a naturopath. I try to get people to save so much money, man. I think health is a racket, and I'm all about saving people money. Save your money. Save your money. Okay, let's do the empath's prayer. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively we say, Amen. All right, so the first question had to do with if we could just take a general look at what's going on with the Supreme Court and Donald Trump. Have they lost their bloody marbles? Well, I don't rightly know, darlings. I mean, you're smarter than me. I am merely a remote viewer and a naturopath. I know not these ways. All right, let's see what's going on. I'll just tell you what I see growing. I have no idea. What the heck? They're setting it up and then they're rejecting it. They are giving him time and then walking away from the case. 8 of Cups. Delay, and then abandon the case. So what are they trying to do? Wait until he gets taken out with finances? He's completely confused. Look at this. What does it matter? The guy's gone. He's Fruit Loops, inverted moon card. I mean, I hate to be rude, but what does it really matter? I mean, hopes and fears. Look at this. I just don't think we are as helpless as we think we are, completely in the clouds. The courts are weak. The court is weak. The GOP is done with Trump. There's an intense FBI and internal DOJ investigation into the links, into the money links, and into bribes between people in the courts and Trump. they've abandoned him. You can see it here. 5 of Pentacles, walking away from the broken man, locked out of the church, poverty. And you can see here their opposition, Trump, confused, contract over. You can see also a very serious investigation. And there's a devil card here. The feds are all over anybody. I mean, every time I go to the DOJ website, it's not even being covered. Every time I go to the DOJ website, another person has been indicted or charged with taking bribes, who's a government employee. They're just chipping away at so much corruption, and it's pretty disturbing to see some of it. But it almost looked like they delay, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because no, he's not immune. Yes, they give him enough time to what? Run in November? If you're looking at Trump's overall health, deterioration. Inverted 8 of Wands, for those people who don't know, is rapid deterioration. Inverted 8 of Wands, rapid deterioration. I always see an opportunity for him to make a deal with the feds economically in order to avoid prison, because you always have this kind of lover's card coming in for him. And that just blows my mind with Trump, because like, what the hell is that? 3 of Cups also. This is a guy who will do anything and everything in order to avoid responsibility. Final outcome, Ace of Wands. I think his time on this earth is numbered. I really do. Biden's pick for SCOTUS, new pick for SCOTUS. Biden is retiring. I just got my guides to tell me. Biden is retiring in 2027. Biden to retire in 2027. So Biden's going to win. His new SCOTUS. Who will be his new SCOTUS? I have a feeling I know why. Probably because he wants Kamala to be able to run. And there won't have to be a primary. So if he steps down in 2027, she'll be able to, there might be a primary, but it would put her in a huge advantage. No, there'd still be a primary. Let's take a look. Biden's pick for the next SCOTUS. Wow, he's seriously courting another woman. That surprises me. Oh, I see. Interesting. He's going to go with a younger male. Could be fall is the time of the Empress, is the time of the Indian summer when the wheat is high. So your answer, whose question was that? Was that you, Joel? Yes, young male comes into position in the time of Indian summer when the Empress, when the wheat is high. Different cards, I can get different seasons. I always think of the Empress as the time of the wheat harvest. I always think about winter and the time of study. January, February when I look at the Hermit, because he's in the snow, and the ground was too cold to plant, so people went to school and studied instead. So I always think of the winter when I think of the time of scholar, wrapped in blankets, like the Hermit, walking in the snow in cloth shoes. So I get a certain feel when I go into this energy. The fact that the Knight of Cups comes in is a very good sign, because it would indicate somebody that will be a uniter or potentially a pick, younger male, that most of the country is happy with. Empress, again, is a fruitful card. It's, I would say it's bodacious, right? But it's auspicious and bodacious, right? So Empress is abundant. So from a young man will come great things in the fall. Well, actually before the fall, because Indian summer is that, I love Indian summer, by the way. It's mid-August when you have the hunter's moon and what is it called? The harvest moon. Yeah, the time of the harvest moon, when it stays late until 10 o'clock and the moon is really bright, so that you can work late until the evening harvesting. Yeah, so that is the time of the Empress. Yeah. Very cool. Well, like I said, it's a very auspicious card. Those are two very auspicious cards. So I think that's a very good omen for the Supreme Court. And I think the reason why young is so that they will have a longer term. If he's only 40, 45 years old, then theoretically he could, no problem, serve 30 years. Yeah. All right, this next question, continuing on with the theme of the courts, did Aido and Thomas get bought off? Let's take a look. It's very possible, because there's a fear of criminal prosecution and evasion of criminal prosecution. Dang. One of them is unhealthy. Aido is unwell, and so is Thomas. They're both unwell. Health concerns, serious health concerns. Archangel Raphael inverted. That's a very bad omen. Very bad omen. So I was picking up that Aido is not well. How old is Aido? I thought he was only in his 60s. How is it that Aido wound up sick? What the heck is that about? Hopes and fears to be victorious. And then the final outcome here, we will have our courts back. We will have our courts back. However, the fact that there's an inverted 9 of Wands coming into 7th house position has me more than a little concerned, because it would suggest, if it's inverted, that there is a crime or something where the person felt incarcerated or fear of incarceration, but they were able to evade it. And that, again, is not that's not a good sign, because it means that something is potentially going on that is preventing them from being held accountable for their actions. And that's bothersome. It's like so much injustice. Smith's policies regarding MAGA and SCOTUS. Okay, Jack Smith. How is Jack Smith going to deal with this? He's holding his bag. He's got more stuff he can charge Trump with. 10 of Pentacles. The inheritance. Inverted 2 of Wands would indicate that the court is not as loyal to Trump as you would indicate. Hopes and fears. Inverted star, that he could theoretically lose the case. And then the final outcome for Jack Smith, 3 of Wands. His ship comes in. It would also indicate possible aid from a foreign country. All right. Next question, Louis DeJoy. Well, they switched over to an electronic system that seems to be pretty good. I think the mail's been working pretty good. Hasn't it? Seems to be good. New electronic stuff is going on. DeJoy. Ace of Wands. Tower. Hopes and fears. Two of Swords. Inverted High Priestess. There's vindictiveness here. It could be a problem with him going forward. There's a part of him where he resents the position that he was placed in, and he may be having desires to be vindictive regarding his relationship with Trump. You can see Devil and Ace of Wands. The other fears, corruption and theft. That would be the feds. Hopes and fears, an internal investigation would be dismissed. Lovers. So it does look like some kind of a contentious relationship with him where he always appears to be on thin ice with the feds. Yeah. All right. Will Trump flee the country? No, he's trapped. I don't think that another country would offer him immunity because no. Where would he go? Nobody would give him immunity and compromise their diplomatic relationship with the United States. It would be the kind of risky behavior that most countries would not want to anger the United States like that. So look, devil, he's not going anywhere, honey. He's trapped. His own relationships have placed him there, if you're talking about the devil card. Well, Chief Justice retires soon. He always looks angry. He's not going anywhere. Ten of Cups. Interesting. No, I don't see him leaving. He feels like he can, they have a very different perception of their court than we do. Aido looks like, and Thomas both look on thin ice. Thomas was asked to retire in February. And now there's supposedly a signature circulating amongst SCOTUS themselves asking him to retire, supposedly. And others saying that they don't want him to weigh in on the case altogether. Ten-year limit. It's an interesting idea. Whose idea is that? No. Would be good for us, though. So interesting. Our spirit guides are saying that nobody should serve in the court for more than 9 years. They should leave in the 10th year, which is kind of what, sorry about this cough, which is kind of what Joel was saying, not to complete the 10th year. to leave at the end of the 9th year would be the best thing for the country. That's kind of funny that the cards said that. All right. I'm going to go. I'm getting an allergy attack to the dust over here. All right. Thank you, everyone, for hanging with me. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, please check the information below. If you, excuse me, if you need an affordable, inexpensive reading, information is below the Wizios. I will pre-tape and get it back to you. All right. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. We'll see you all later. Be well and God bless. Bye, everyone. Thank you.